And guess what, everybody? We are now live. Officially live. Except for Mike. He's bidding at the moment. But he'll be here pretty soon. So, good morning to some people, I guess. If you're in Japan, good morning to you. If you're not in Japan, good afternoon or good evening. Or if you're up at 2 in the morning. Could be. And so, we're back again. Every week we're here doing the live stream, answering your guys' questions, because importing a car from around the world can be a little bit of a daunting task if you don't have all the information, and so that's what we're here for. Anyways, I see that 90% of the comments in the comments section when we're starting here from Bill Courtney, as per usual.
Bill, coming in strong.
Yeah, Bill, you know what? You need to take a vacation to Japan and then come do the live stream here in the office. We can call it the Bill Courtney stream, and then you can be the leader, because that's what it seems like you want there. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Bill can take over.
Yeah, so let's have a look. We got I'll just go over these things. I'm not really ready to talk yet today. I kind of wanted today to be just a sleep in bed all day kind of day, but obviously that doesn't happen when you're an adult anymore.
Sadly.
Okay, so yeah, let's see. Roberto jumps right in to say, what's up with the Honda City Turbo 2? That's actually the next thing that I can concentrate on now that our racetrack day is finished. It happened on Saturday, and we're not going to go into too much detail about it, other than the fact that it went really well. Very, very well. In fact, it was a very good day. And so, more on that later. Hopefully coming up pretty soon. I got a week off in August because there's a holiday week here in Japan, and so maybe thinking about doing some of the editing myself. Otherwise, I really wouldn't have enough time to do that if I didn't have the time off. Speaking of tailgates, yes, here's something new. The BB's tailgate has been broken forever, and I am halfway done fixing the tailgate so that it can open again. And so that's very good news for us. Oh, you know what's funny, Bill? You're talking about the Master Line? I actually got that saved as one of the ones that we're going to talk about. Master Line. Here it is. Cool truck. But more on that later. Who else is speaking other than Bill? Bill, you got to give some breathing room. I don't want to just be talking about your messages. Not a DC5, Bill, a DC2. The DC5 I don't like so much. Except one of the guys at the track, he does endurance races with the DC5, and he says it's lovely. All right, Hunts by Chainsaw. Wow, actually made it into the live stream. You're here all the time. I don't know what you're talking about. And then somebody named period or dot. It's not live, so technically you didn't make it yet. I guess these are the messages that came in before we started. Okay, cool. And yes, Bill, that's what happens with hair. It grows and grows. I'm hoping to do a mullet pretty soon, but I have to wait until it's a little bit longer. I want to kind of... Didn't one of the guys, Mike, on Star Wars have a mullet?
Yes.
Like Ewan McGregor?
Obi-Wan, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a mullet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that then. If Obi-Wan can do it, then I can do it.
Nice.
Hi, John Kleck. How you doing? Anthony Waters says, what's up? Like the Budweiser commercial. Water-cooled performance. I may have gotten your other email. We were busy over the weekend, and then it was a holiday on Monday, so I haven't checked all the emails. So I might have gotten it, and if I haven't, then I'll make a mental note to remember to check that out. Nismo Funes says, yo, I don't recognize the name, so welcome. I just lost where I was in the chat here. Wow, we got a lot of stuff coming in. Can I sleep in the Nissan van, says Bill? No, you can't. It's full of car parts and tools and stuff.
And it'd be breathing in car fumes.
Breathing in car fumes. Yeah, it's pretty moldy inside there. And then the interior of that, I don't know if anyone remembers, but the interior of the Caravan has tatami mats. You guys know what tatami mats are? A lot of Japanese houses still have these mats in them, even like brand new ones.
I think it's really cool, but I heard they're viciously hard to clean.
Well, you get them taken out when they get really bad.
Oh. I heard they give like bed bugs and stuff.
Yeah. They're kind of a stupid thing, but I think the tradition is important.
Yeah.
A lot of people just like the smell of it. I really don't. Well, I guess would get used to it, but whenever I enter a house that has tatami mats in it, you can smell it.
Yeah.
Does your house have them?
No, I kind of wish it did.
Our first house did, or our
Yeah.
first apartment. Our current one doesn't. Yeah, so the camper has a tatami floor, and then it's disgusting. So, not very nice to sleep in, even if it didn't have any car parts. That's cool, Mr. Period, that you worked on a 1972 Carmen Ghia. Good luck buying one of those from Japan. They're pretty expensive now. Can you import cars to the Middle East? I'm from Dubai. Bah. Dubai is kind of weird. They don't let cars be imported. There may be ways around that if you're rich enough, but for the most part, Dubai is just a port area where they have this place that you can import cars to, but you can't actually import them to Dubai. They just go into the port area of Dubai and then are sold to countries around the area. And there may be a way around the import restrictions by importing them from Dubai into another neighboring country, registering it there, and then sending it to Dubai, but I really don't know. But there's this huge marketplace area for used cars, and unfortunately a whole bunch of really shady dealers, because whenever you have like 50 dealers all competing and they can't compete on price because they buy from the same source, it's really the only way to stand out is to roll back mileage or things like that. Hey Derek, just stopping in to show support from the States. I can't stay this time unfortunately, but I'll try to make the next one. Thank you, Snow White Supra. I got a really itchy nose today. I don't know what's going on. I kind of want to get somebody else to itch it for me, invisibly.
Gotta go. This window.
That's the worst thing. And I always wondered too, like, you always see like people on TV, right? Like famous people on TV, especially like the Daily Show, right? Do they ever get sick?
Daily Show.
Yeah, just like like nighttime shows, like Stephen
yeah.
Colbert and all those guys.
I think they give them lots of medicine before the show to like make sure their nose doesn't sniffle.
Right? It's got to be something.
Yeah.
They're very consistent too, but I guess they only give that kind of job to people who are consistent. My live chat keeps skipping down. Joshua thinks I won't do a mullet, but I'll have you know that this won't be the first time that I thought things were funny by giving myself a mullet and then immediately shaving it off.
We should do a charity stream.
And John, you're right, a mohawk would be super rad. I've never done a mohawk. It's one of the only hairstyles I haven't done.
Oh. I have.
Really? Can I see pictures, please? Can we put them onto the live?
I don't have any pictures. I could probably do a mohawk with this hair.
Hi, Ellen from San Diego. I'm always astonished when I get people from San Diego because it's impossible to own a house there. Or basically anywhere in the popular cities in California. My interest has been piqued. Is that the right term?
Yeah.
Kingston Morrissey says, "Hey Derek, 45076, super cool." I kind of like the vagueness of it. I'm going to see if it actually is super cool, and if it's not, I'm going to be disappointed. Mike?
Yes.
I need your opinion.
Yes.
Super cool?
Oh, is that a Prius? Oh.
Yep, this is the new Prius, the Fair Lady Prius.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that little, what is this, little nose?
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, yeah, I like it.
Are you done bidding over there?
No, I have one in about 15 cars.
15?
10 now?
I want you to join me, Mike. I'm so lonely over here by myself with the 31 people who are watching.
8 cars. And then
32
and then all yours.
people. This looks like a C West front end. Maybe it's not, but I always think C West when there's the one little offset place here to pipe in for your intake. Well, I am liking these Fairladies a lot more as time goes on, but I'm not really into the front bumper. I do like the rear spoiler. I like the spats and the side skirts, but this little nose piece here, I don't know if I like that.
Chop it off.
And then if the nose piece were chopped off, I don't think it would be a good looking bumper anyway. If I saw it on a racetrack, I wouldn't have a problem with it. It kind of looks like a racetrack bumper. You see all these like these bumpers with these giant gaping openings, and that's usually like completely worthless. If you take a look at cars actually on a racetrack, they'll have a smaller the intake on the front for the radiator will only be about 30% the size of the radiator, because you don't want that big of an opening because it's bad for your aero. You need just enough to give you the correct amount of cooling. But most of the aftermarket bumper companies, they want it for the looks and to make sure that the car has that specific look of a giant opening. This cools your car so well because the opening is bigger. Yeah. And I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with bumpers that are made for looks, but it is confusing to a lot of people when they think this will be better performance because it's made by X company. Yeah. Let's do the entire stream complaining about things, though. Right, Mike?
No. We are going to be positive. Be positive.
So, body doesn't look too bad. The front fenders have been replaced. Maybe they've been changed over to fiberglass ones. The car has been in an accident. This auction does grade 0 instead of grade R. And it looks like it has pillar accident damage from going through the notes here. Otherwise, nothing really bad. Cigarette burn in the inside is the only other bad thing. And then repainted sections. And Mike, what are you bidding on here?
Land Cruiser.
What kind?
60 series.
Hmm.
The one.
Yeah, let me know if we win it.
Yeah. I think we have a good chance.
Yeah, you have to buy a camper van to live in California. Venom. Venom, I like your name. I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story. I told Siri that my name isn't Derek, it's actually Venom. So now anytime I talk to Siri, she calls me Venom because my son likes superheroes, and I thought it would be funny if I got her to call me Venom. And that's the end of the story. And the reason why there are never any EP70 Turbo Starlets up for auction is because they are rad race cars. And people who have them want to continue having rad race cars. That's one of the things about having a rad race car, is that you want to continue to have them when they are rad. And that's why there aren't that many used ones. They're also pretty old too. The EP70s are.
You're the winner.
So this generation, if it hasn't been used as a race car, there's probably no reason for it to be on the road still, because most people would upgrade to something that's going to be a more modern or more livable car. And the only exception is track cars. And so that's why you see them on the, well, you don't even see them on the track so much anymore because of the age. They have all been raced away. Cool cars, but I think most people would prefer a Civic over one of these, like an EG6. Is probably going to be faster on a track than one of these, even though they are turbo 1.3 or 1600 with the VTEC. And I think EG6s are faster on a track. I think. Skucks Bunny, how much would an 8.6 Trudeau be in US dollars or New Zealand dollars? It's a difficult question to answer because the condition of them varies so much. Almost all of them have been used as track cars, again, like the Starlets have. Yes, you can, please. And because of that, conditions vary a lot. Anything that's a street car and able to be used on the street is going to be quite a bit more expensive than anything that has been on the track. And then track cars vary. Like what I was saying about the rad race cars, there's not very many reasons why people get rid of a race car, and usually it is either that car is too expensive or the car can't handle that much more racing because it's just so beat up. Chassis fatigue and just things keep failing and failing and failing, and you're not getting very much track time. So it's time for an upgrade. And then those cars get sent to auction. And then when people buy cars that are like that, whether it be an 8.6 or Starlet or a Sylvia, you're buying a car that is already close to the end of its life. And so, like a good 8.6, to answer the question, you're looking at about $12,000 now. They can go up from there and a little bit down. Race ones can usually be around 6,000 or 7,000 or 8,000, but they're usually pretty bad. Here's a question for you, Mike.
Yes.
They say this is kind of a stupid question. And you being the guy that handles the stupid questions so easily.
No such thing as a stupid question. Only stupid answers.
I thought you were going to say only stupid people.
Oh, that'd be sad.
But do Japanese people prefer right-hand drive or left-hand drive? I don't think that's a stupid question at all.
Not at all. Yeah, there are some. I personally only like the right side of the car for the country that you're in. Like, I wouldn't want to.
So you would prefer a right-hand drive car in Japan because Japan is a right-hand drive country.
Yeah.
Have you tried driving a left-hand drive in Japan?
Yeah, it's weird to me because in New Zealand we're all right-hand drive cars as well. So left-hand drive's always weird, but I think left-hand drive in a left-hand driving country, weirder.
It certainly is weirder, and I'd say like cars on the road, maybe like 20% or less, maybe 10% or less are opposite side drive. But they're usually the higher end cars, like 911s and AMGs and M3s, M5s, that kind of car.
Yeah.
And so if the car that you want only comes in that hand drive, like a Lancia Delta, only comes in left-hand drive. And so if you want one in Japan, whether you like it or not, you have to keep with that hand.
And it was a status thing too, right?
And it still is.
Yeah.
Like some cars like the RS4 you can get in left or right-hand drive, which is kind of cool. And to me, like, I used to drive a left-hand drive car in Japan. I had a Mercedes-Benz here. Yeah. Yeah, I sold it for 0 yen actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it the one to buy it off you if it doesn't sell?
No, it was, I don't want this car anymore, but there are too many broken things, so I don't feel good about selling it. And so I said, you can have it for free if you pay me my fee of 100,000 yen that you usually have to pay when you're buying cars. And so.
Fair. Was it an old one? Oh, what kind was it?
It was a CLK.
Okay.
320. It was not this one. It was this one. That's not a good picture. Let's get a bigger one. It was this one in this color, but it had some rad BBS 18-inch wheels on it. And it was a nice car. But everything didn't work, like the sunroof and the power windows and
I think
some other things too.
My dad had the C-Class wagon for this, and sensors kept breaking. Like, lots of money to fix.
Yeah, they're known for their lack of reliability and their lower build quality because the generation before this was higher build quality and more like traditional Mercedes-Benz like. This was more of a modern car, so a lot of people didn't like that. But I ended up selling it to a good friend of mine, and he still drives it. So that's cool. Anyways, I can't remember why we were talking about this.
Left-hand drive cars.
Oh yeah, so one thing I found about left-hand drive cars in Japan that's really useful is that Japan has a lot of scooters on the road. And scooters are...
So you can high-five them.
Or you can knock them off their scooters. It's quite annoying when you're driving here, especially if you drive in a larger vehicle, to avoid the scooters and give them enough space. But if you're driving in a left-hand drive car, when you're passing them, you get a lot more visibility of how far away you are exactly.
Yeah.
And so I find that helps.
I find it difficult to judge distance in a left-hand drive car because I'm not used to it. But I can see what you're saying, yeah. Oh, someone's a lock of your hair.
Yeah, I'm thinking about selling it. You know how like YouTubers all have this like buy the merch kind of thing? Yeah, you can buy some of this. And then you can tape it to your head and you can be Hall & Oates. You know what's funny? Thanks to whoever it was. I think it was probably Bill Courtney, because of course it was, right?
Wait, no, I don't think.
Okay.
Hall and Oates, right?
Anyway, someone was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, Derek, you look like the D-bag in Hall and Oates," and so I looked it up. Mike and I watched the video on YouTube. Now my music streaming software only wants to show me Hall and Oates songs.
It's like, oh, we can see you.
Yeah. I found out that you like Hall and Oates.
Yeah.
And it's like nobody else listens to the song, so it's like, yes, finally somebody listened to it. Now we're gonna feed it to them for the next month.
We've got a fan.
Yeah.
So yeah, to answer this question, I guess they do prefer left and right-hand drive cars. It just depends on the kind of person you are.
I'd say most people prefer right-hand drive here in Japan.
I agree.
Mike, can you write down some questions?
Yes.
I find it hard to speak while also reading the chat.
Oh, I guess a follow-up question to the left-hand drive and right-hand drive thing. Hunts by Chainsaw said, is it difficult to switch your hands for the gears?
No.
I would say yes. I find it very awkward.
Now, you're used to right-hand drive, though. I think this is somebody from a left-hand drive country asking if it's hard to switch gears with the opposite of what they're used to.
But if I were to switch, I'm like,
what? So if you're in a Japanese car and you're driving, then you switch with your left hand while you're driving with your right hand. Now, most people are dominant right hand, right?
Yeah.
And so the steering position, if you feel that like that's more important to you than the shifting hand, then you have your dominant hand on the steering wheel, and this gives you, I guess, more control in that respect.
Yeah.
Compared to the opposite, which would be shifting with your right and then steering with your left.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know, because I'm left-handed for writing and eating and brushing my teeth, which I do. But other things like playing hockey or golf, I do it right-handed.
Oh.
And so for me, I don't know, because I don't get this feeling of having one dominance while driving. But I feel like it only took like maybe an hour or so to get used to the shifter on the other side.
Oh.
And now, whether I drive right-hand drive or left-hand drive, I never think twice about it, because the shifter pattern is the same on both sides. You're still up and to the left for first, down and to the left for second.
Mm-hmm.
They don't switch that around, even though you're on a
no.
different side of the steering wheel.
Yeah.
I think it's easier to get mixed up with your wipers. Like which side of the steering wheel the wipers is on.
For the year. Oh, wait.
That it's not fun at all. Like so in America, it's always your signal is always on your left hand for every car.
So same as European
Unless there's
cars.
some weird car. But then here's where it gets weird. Japanese cars with the right-hand drive have it on the right-hand side.
Right.
And most cars have it on the right-hand side, which is opposite. So you'll be accidentally hitting the wiper instead of your signal.
Yeah.
When you're driving. But BMW and Volkswagen keep it always on the left side for your signal.
I thought it was all Europeans.
Not all, because Mercedes-Benz wasn't. And then I've also driven I'm sure I've driven a BMW with it on the other side too.
Yeah. My European Ford was on the other side as well.
And so the rule of thumb I always go with is whatever side is close to the window is correct, unless you're driving a Volkswagen or a BMW.
I did not know that. So USA, it's left, and you're on the left.
The door side.
I always used to hit my wipers.
What?
It's funny.
Oh, you said
I
thought you said something else.
Oh. Did you say I always used to hit my wife?
Yes.
This is new.
What's new?
If I was married at some point.
Ooh. I am right-handed but play pool left-handed. Yeah, my dad's the opposite of me. He's right-handed but plays hockey left-handed. So, it is weird that way. Stupid hairs in my face. Oh, so annoying. But I can't sell my hair unless I grow it out.
Sell your hair and then the scissors that we use to cut it.
I'm basically using it as a crutch, Mike. when I go on the live stream, I don't know what to talk about. And if I have something to talk about, it just comes. This is my crutch for when I don't have anything other to say. I pulled up some cars, so let's have a look at those ones. So, let's see. Ah, it's USS. USS!
Someone sent in a really cool Corvette.
Don't tell USS about that. They really don't. They have other things to do. Okay. So I got...
There's no sense telling them about this. Leave us alone.
It's not like we did it on purpose. It's not like we're breaking their rules on purpose. So check this out. This is a Toyota Master Line pickup truck. One of the coolest looking pickup trucks. A lot of people don't know about this because Toyota had a few. They had the Toyota Publica pickup truck. This one here is actually based on a Crown. Take a look. It has the Crown logo on the front. Super rad, right?
Whoa.
And then they had another one too. What was their other Toyota truck called before the Hiace? I think T100 maybe? Let me see if I got that right. T100 is also a Tacoma trim level. Maybe I got that wrong. I'm getting only Tacomas. Shoot, what is it called? Oh, I hate growing up.
Don't do it.
I feel like I'm like 70 years old in terms of brain power. It's especially frustrating when there's things that I knew.
Yeah, T100, you're right.
On like the back of my hand. What year is the T100? Like 1965?
92 and 98, apparently.
No, those are the Tacoma. I'm talking about the Toyota pickup from the 60s. This one here says Corona. Apparently there was a Corona pickup. I didn't even know about that. Oh man, I want every Toyota pickup that was ever made and just put them into a warehouse and line them up.
I think Tacoma.
Nope, the Tacoma started in that wasn't called the Tacoma.
Tacoma.
Nope.
Huh?
Mm-mm.
Alright, let me check. Digging deeper.
I think Tacoma started in like 91 or something.
69 to 72, Hilux.
Before that. Come on, somebody in the chat, you gotta know this. Toyopet was just the name of Toyota trucks, so it would have been a Toyopet something. Or maybe Toyopet pickup? I don't know.
Oh, that looks so good.
See if we can find that. Toyopet pickup. Yeah, but I want to know the real name. Here we go, Stout. That was the name I was looking for. Toyota Stout. It's a cool name, isn't it?
Stout.
It looks like a terror to drive, but still very cool.
Oh, yeah, these look cool.
Here's my Toyota pickup truck. Actually, it's not. It looks like it, but it's not. Anyways, back to the auctions.
That's the history list.
This is the truck that I want. It seems to be in not bad condition considering their super old age. Like mine was a 1982, and it was rusty like crazy. This is a 1965, and now we're like 15 years past the time that I owned my truck. Oh, the back with those tail lights, and like the car-like rear end here.
Oh, whoa. That looks bizarre.
What a cool truck. And the fender mirrors. What's up? And the tiny thin steering wheel.
Oh, and the corrosion ever.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Okay, so 1900cc gasoline engine. I don't even know what engine that would be. It's an auction grade R with an E grade exterior and D grade interior. Looking at the body, we got bad dent here, bad corrosion here, here, bad paint here. Needs a full restoration, but it doesn't look like it would be too far gone. And for something as unique as this, because everyone loves Toyota pickup trucks, but not everyone knows about all of the obscure Toyota pickup trucks that only existed in Japan back in the day. Toyopet, it says in the back.
Do you think you could make this kind of like the Cadillac styling with those lights? Like, you know, the long pieces that kind of came off the body?
Like the fins at the back?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think with a Toyota truck like this, you want to keep it as Toyota as possible. It has the Crown logo. There were other cool Crown pickups too. Toyota Crown pickup. Toyota.
I'm saying Toyota Sierra?
Toyota. How cool is that? Crown
that's
pickup.
Cool. With the
Oh,
fender
that's
blades,
cool.
too.
Oh. This is almost so good looking that it's not allowed. Hey, here's that one that we were just looking at.
Wow.
Oh, Mike, remember on Friday I told you that little nugget of information about the Toyota diesels?
Oh, yeah.
Would you like to repeat that and then be cool?
I don't remember the full nugget.
Not cool.
The engines, right?
No, if you wanted any diesel vehicle from
Oh.
Toyota, you couldn't buy it from the Toyota dealership. You had
What
to
was
buy
the
it
name?
from a store called Toyota Diesel. What was it?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Toyota
the name.
Diesel Store?
Yeah, something like Diesel Store. Diesel Time.
Not Diesel Time. Toyota Diesel Store. Up until 1988 in Japan, which is fairly modern times. It was like 65 to 88 or something like that. Any of the diesels, like the Toyota Crown diesel or any of the Land Cruisers. Very cool. Okay, so in terms of prices on this, I don't really know. Let's just go over this. It says front inside panel is wrinkled, underside has corrosion, exterior has like refinishing marks on it, core support, wrinkled, headliner ripped, steering wheel wear a lot, interior dirty, and the vehicle has been completely repainted, color changed to white, and they don't know the original color. Too cool. This is one of those things, if I had the money, because I want to own it. I know I would very rarely ever drive something like this, but I really want to have it. So.
Well, if the tailgate works,
well,
we could lift it.
Well, if the super chats come in,
oh,
how many super chats do we need? Don't do that.
know.
YouTube takes 30% of the super chats, so you're basically giving YouTube money. If you actually want to give me money, you can just send us money instead. Okay, next one here. I had to pick this, Mike, because
Ooh.
what a fun car these are, isn't it?
Yeah.
What a fun car. That's all I have to say. If you haven't driven one of these, you really need to.
Yeah.
You need to go do it now.
Yeah.
This one's in bad condition. Terrible paint all the way around, and then
But it's still awesome.
I don't know, not very many. There's cigarette burn, dashboard holes, more cigarette burns.
Oh, it's awesome.
Has been lowered. Oh, a Momo steering wheel. All right.
Now
That's
we're
all the better.
talking.
I want more of these. I want an NB Miata.
Ooh, they're cheap.
Yeah, super cheap, very good value. Because the NB, the next generation after this, it's I guess considered more of a girly car than this is, but it's running on the same chassis. They come in 6-speed manual, and a lot of the pieces swap between the two models, including things like the hardtop and like motor mounts. Suspension is geometry, and subframe is a little bit different.
Over fenders.
Over fenders don't. Miata versus AE86 when it comes to driving. The Miata is way better than the 86. The 86 is a weird car because it really shouldn't handle it. It doesn't handle that good. And it shouldn't handle that good because it's like 1970s technology in the 86 in terms of the suspension geometry. It has a solid rear axle. It has, I mean, it's just not very good, but for some reason it works. And I think that the reason why it works is because it's fun because it's not very capable. And I think it's the same reason why they use the crappy tires for the new 86. They lower the capability of it to make it a little bit more fun. If the car's a little bit sketchy and a little bit shaky and a little bit low to the ground, then it feels like you're going faster. And I think it just hit a sweet spot that wasn't intentionally engineered into it. The Miata, on the other hand, has better suspension geometry, although the chassis is probably just as floppy, even though it is a more modern car. And the engine, I think, although I love the 4AG engine, I think that the Miata engine is probably, I don't know, that's a hard one. I'm thinking back to how much fun I had in my 86.
Would you like a picture for comparison?
Yes? What do you got?
444 TAA Hiroshima. Other people are asking us to show one of them. Yeah, Elias makes a good point about cost as well.
What did he say?
One of the cars is literally 1/5 the cost of the other.
Oh, man.
It looks good, but
It's definitely a street-made car. This is like made for a car show and not even for the street.
Yeah.
Because you would never have a car set up like this for racing,
Yeah.
right? And then
Wouldn't be that clean either. Like,
right.
From the cars.
This is like 4 centimeters off the ground here, so you wouldn't want to have it like this for on the street. It's basically only used for looking good, and that it does. It's a really good looking car. And Elias made that point about the price.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's spot on with 5 times the price, even though the Roadster, the NA Roadsters in particular, are getting expensive.
Yeah. Well, start price for this one is 1.5 million, and yeah, it's been modified and it's got all the nice pieces, but.
Let's see what else it has.
Oh Lord.
Oh, hey, check this out. 4AG high lift camshaft, 304 288. Have you ever heard of a camshaft that's 304? I think that would be on the intake side, because I think that when they say the camshaft sizes, they'll do intake and then exhaust. But a 304, like usually, even a 288 is high. Like 270, 278 is the common high lift camshaft durations. But a 304 means that your camshaft is almost, or like your valve is open almost all the time. It only closes briefly. This is going to be one of those cars that goes bam, 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 bam when you're driving.
Excellent.
It's going to let the fire out the intake side. You're going to have a burnt throttle body, and your air filter is going to fly off in the opposite direction.
Everyone's gonna love it.
High compression pistons in it. It has an ECU to run a 4-throttle engine instead of the regular distributor running on the single throttle. It has Takoashi, which is exhaust header.
Oh, yeah.
Custom-made exhaust. Front has a Z32 calipers on it. That'd be plenty for a 950 kilogram car. Interior and exterior modifications, aftermarket Aeropart work 16-inch wheels. Those are beastly. The rear ones look a little bit odd though, that they're not cambered out more. And look at how much stretch there is on that tire. That'd be a fun one to drive back from the auction. Hey, Mike?
No.
In fact, why don't we buy it and then you can drive this one back from the auction, and we could be 2 for 2 for tires that fall off of cars.
If something doesn't explode under the hood, the tires are going to pop off. Something's going to pop.
These are fairly reliable engines, but because many of them have been raced, they are often at the final end of their reliability by the time that you purchase them. I wouldn't be worried about this one. If it's a car, if it's a car that hasn't been raced, the engine should probably be fine. Fully adjustable suspension. It has a GTV rack, so tighter steering ratio, I guess. I don't know. Suspension rods. Recaro seats. And ODK dark taillights. Let's have a look at their dark taillights. That rear spoiler is really cool, and the dual exhaust here also very cool. In terms of looks, this is basically right out of a child's doodle book, right? Like if you're 15 years old and you draw pictures of the rad cars with the big wheels, that's what this is.
Yeah.
It's cool. I mean, there's a reason why kids draw pictures that look like that, because they want the cars to look cool, and it obviously does look cool. And you're gonna get a lot of haters with a car like this, like, oh, why would you lower it that far? Why would you put tires on that stretched? Why would you put wheels on there that far out? And those people need to...
What was that?
If it's not your car, why do you care that much about it?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is driven by jealousy, because people's cars get more attention than their own. A lot of it is due to being dissatisfied with other people's decisions. I don't really understand that. I think a car like this is cool, even if it's not the kind of car that I want. And I like how it's done with the coupe, or the coupe version of it. It actually looks really good. I think if this car were styled the same way as the hatchback, I don't think it would be as charming to me. Good on whoever sent this one in.
Oh, I just found it.
Yeah, and if it's a racetrack, then this car is going to be better than the 8.6 in the racetrack. There's no doubt about that. Especially since a Miata is easier to get more power out of than an 8.6 is. An 8.6, you're lucky if you can get anywhere in the 200s, even if you turbo or supercharge it. Max on that engine is about 300. And then the Miata is fairly easy to get 200 out of, 250 out of. And then you can go up from there as well and swap in the later versions of the engines, 2 liters, and get even more. You can get the 6-speed manual swapped in. They come stock with LSD. And although these ones come stock with LSD too, very few of them actually have it compared to the Roadsters. Anyways, that's probably about all of the 8.6 that I can talk about.
And it would need to be raised before shipping for the people who were maybe considering buying one.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, and the 8.6 is weird because it doesn't have adjustable suspension in the rear.
oh yes.
And so people put lowering springs on the rear, and in this case probably cut springs, and so you'd need to not only raise up the front, but replace the suspension in the rear to ship this one. How's that for information, Mike?
Yeah, a lot to consider. Especially when it's so expensive.
Still, if someone's going to spend $2 million on a car, an extra, $1,000 for changing your suspension is not going to hurt that much. Cool car.
Someone was asking for a black GTIR. Did you have one up that you were?
I did not. Is there one?
No, I'll ask them to send it.
Yeah, GTIRs are pretty rare, but black is the most common color for some reason. Cappuccinos almost always can't beat a Miata. If you have a stock Miata versus a stock Cappuccino, the Miata will win. And if you spend the same amount of money on both cars, the Miata will always win. There's no way to make a Cappuccino faster than a Miata with the same money. Although they are very cool cars, they're really slow and small engines. A 0.6 liter. Please send through the auction name, number, and date. Oh, Pacific Auto. Very good comment there, Mike. I like that.
Super chat. Who else? Pete sent in a Citroen. Oh, this. I don't know if we were looking at one of these the other week. Maybe it was the same one. Yeah, it's gone unsold a bunch of times.
If we show a Citroen on the.
SM?
Yeah, I think that we did that a few weeks back. Yeah, CLP, that's completely true. The GTI R used to be so popular in Canada about 15 years ago. Everybody seemed to have one. And like back then, the internet wasn't a part of your everyday life in the same way that it is now. And so a lot of people were much more astonished when they saw a car like the GTI R for the first time than they would be now. Most people know about that car, but nobody knew about it back then. GTIR. Thanks, Volkswagen. So 4-wheel drive SR20 with 250 horsepower. And it was a real rally car. These were made for Group A rally. Oh, these might have been made for Group B, but then missed the cut when Group B was cancelled. I don't know 100% on that. And then I don't think that they were very successful in rally either, because you don't see nowadays you see the Evos. Oh, look at that! Oh, is that a picture from me? Wow.
Before you said that, you should have commented on how good the picture was, how good the photographer must have been.
It's easy for you to say. You can sit there and think about cool things to say. Whereas my mouth is like a tap where you turn it on and just whatever's in there comes out. I don't have time to think about it. Someone needs to one day make this compilation of all these stupid things that I've said in the live chat. Please don't do that. Don't actually do that.
Everyone's like, oh, look what I'm doing this weekend.
Oh, look at this picture. It would take a long time to find all the stupid things, but there are nuggets in there.
Nuggets.
Oh, wait a second. What do you want me to say? I just brought the picture up again. Somebody might have just come into the chat and then not heard what I said.
Man, that's such a good quality picture. Photographer really captured all the angles of the car.
all the angles. All right, I'm done looking at that. Did you find one that's for auction right now?
I did not. Found a Mark II.
Yeah, they come in 2 different versions right now, either beat up completely or in very good condition and very expensive. And so a good one in good condition will run you about $12,000 US or so, and then the beat ones are usually somewhere around 6,000.
Yeah, looks like it kind of beat up one, but they're both at USS. So sorry, we cannot show them.
Someone says the dust and the pollen. CLP? Is that what you? Yeah. Yeah, look at all that dust and pollen on it. Typical of all my pictures and videos. Oh man, how nice would it be to have somebody I can pay to wash the cars before I go and shoot them. But unfortunately, we are not scamming all of our customers, so we're not rich like all the other exporters out there. Oh, Ziclus. Love the name, by the way, and your picture is very cool. Look down here in the left-hand corner, auction.pacificcoastjdm.com. That'll bring you up to this site here, and then you can log in with the guest account. I'll show you how to do that. And so you just go here. It says log in as guest, password Pacific Coast. You put those into here, and then you can go and search. And you can search as much as you want. It's all free for you. Ooh, look, a Tundra. What's this? USS car. Yikes. Can't show USS cars. You can show us any of the ones, we can talk about it, but not USS cars, which includes HAA and JAA, which have now been renamed to USS JAA and USS HAA. Joshua wants us to take a look at the car. JU Ibaraki 11. Here's a style you don't see very much anymore. This was popular about 10 or 15 years ago. Was these full body sedans, Cedric, Gloria, Sema, and then they would put these arrow parts on the doors to flatten out the sides. And you can see it goes from right here all the way across, and it just flattens all of the doors. It's a really odd look, and it was only popular for a very short amount of time.
I love it. I don't like the front bumper being extended so far, but otherwise I love it.
I feel like the tires need to come out about 3 or 4 centimeters. The rear one is probably okay, but the front one looks like it's in a little bit too much.
Josh sent this in.
Yeah.
I want Josh to buy one of these. They look really cool.
Yes. Josh, do it. You can buy this one. It comes up for auction tomorrow. Let's have a look. JP full aero kit. That would be, what is that? Junction Produce.
Oh.
They were the biggest name in VIP. Maybe still are in VIP tuning.
Mm. Oh yeah, that's what Josh said. Junction Produce Scara wheels. Big money wheels.
18-inch. The auction sheet says that. Just JP Scara. What's a Scara? I don't know. I'm surprised anyone could recognize that with these pictures. Very good. Very good on you for recognizing that.
Josh knows his VIP.
And Junction Produce seat covers. Hey, did you get a translation of this one already? I didn't do it for sure. Maybe Naoko did. It has some corrosion on this side here, just a little bit of it. The body is generally pretty good, but the bumper is W3. And W3 usually means bad quality paint. Could be as bad as spray paint, or it could be like bubbly. Since it's made out of fiberglass, sometimes they don't treat the fiberglass properly before painting it, and they get these fine bubbles all over it. It's either that, or it could possibly be a bumper that has cracked at one point and has been repaired, and then you can notice the repair in there somewhere. Okay, fenders have been modified. That's cool. I don't know, it's cool. It kind of looks like a car that they wanted to go for a certain look on it, but then didn't quite go far enough on it. I don't know. Do you get that at all? I kind of feel like this car needed like pink and green paint or something to stand out a little bit more.
But that's not the VIP star, right? They want black. And they want
the new VIP is more in your face and attractive.
Yeah,
this is kind of old school VIP tuning, which nowadays the cars are more flamboyant than they used to be. But this would have been considered very flamboyant 10 years ago or 15 years ago or so.
I love the back. The front, something needs to change. I don't like the bumper, I don't think. The back looks great.
It may be one of those cars that looks much cooler in real life than in pictures too.
Yeah.
The condition doesn't look too bad. Dashboard has a crack in it. It has been modified. Ooh, I think this is a Junction Produce. AC vent one part, something I can't read, sorry. Various scratches, dents, scuffs, underside surface rust. Line sticker has been put on. Like pinstriping.
Oh.
Wheels scratched.
No, the JP scars are scratched.
Oh no. How much does it cost to change from right-hand drive to left-hand drive, and is it worth it? I found that there's a lot of price difference from company to company, and with something as important as changing the steering wheel from one side to the other, I wouldn't want to mess around with one that's not higher end. You don't want to open up the dashboard one day to find out it's just a fan belt between the steering wheel on one side and the steering column on the other. And I've actually seen pictures like that. Pretty sketchy. And I think that the higher end ones are around $8,000 to do the conversion, and lower end ones are around $2,000. And then a lot of made in China parts. And so I would be very questionable about that. Companies in Japan do that. We really don't want to get into doing that business though, because it takes a while to find a supplier that you can put your name behind, and I really don't want to be like, okay, we can do that for you. Here's a company that we found, and then we don't have experience with that company, so if things go wrong, then we look like the idiot. And then we can't get enough experience. It might take 10 or 15 conversions before I feel like I have enough experience with a company to know if they've got my best interest in mind. I mean, that may be a little bit high, but you know what I'm saying. You can't just...
It's difficult, yeah.
Like, just because you have one success with a company doesn't mean that that's going to be a company that you can trust. You need multiple successes and a pattern of them, and like usually a company will work fine for you until something goes wrong, and then you'll find out that they were a bad company. And no, for $2 or $3 grand, I couldn't imagine that that's doing it properly. But then again, there are some countries that want to import from Japan, but they can't with right-hand drive cars, and you have to convert them. And there are these complete kits that are mass-produced in order to do that. And so if you mass-produce them, prices can come down.
I have a couple questions.
Uh-huh.
Venom has asked, can he pick up a car from auction directly?
Can he do it?
Yeah.
Probably not. Mr. Venom, are you in Japan? Like, it's possible for us to do it at some of the auctions.
I'm not sure if he was wanting to do it as like a trip here, buy a car and then drive it or something, but I mean insurance and everything, if something bad were to happen.
Yeah, so like, we've done it a few times where we went to the auction with a customer, we bought a car, and then we can drive that car out of the auction. It's not something that we do very often. For one, the customer's not allowed to drive the car on our dealer plates technically, and so there is that. And then if we drive the car out, it means that we have to get to the auction by train. Otherwise, we'll be leaving our car there.
Yeah.
Which would be a pain in the butt, because then we would have to send our own car back if we drove it there. And so it's a little bit weird in that respect. And then Mike, I think, hit on the more important point, is that a lot of people assume that you can buy a car and you can drive it here in Japan, but the rules here are very strict for that, and they don't really want you to do it. And so you wouldn't be able to drive on our dealer plates. You wouldn't be able to transfer it into your name to drive it in Japan unless you live in Japan, and you have to actually be a registered resident of Japan before you can get your own parking spot. And Mike's going through that right now, right, yes. Mike? Even though he is a registered resident, he can't find a parking spot that will rent to a foreigner.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
Right?
Yeah.
And then if you can't find a parking spot, like, you need to register your parking spot to your car, because of course you do. It's Japan. We're going to make it harder for you.
Yeah.
And all the places are like, oh, what? You are white? No can has parking spot.
Even if you're like, I want to pay you, there's no one parking it there, there's plenty of space, they're still...
Even, like...
Put you through the ringer.
Didn't they say, oh yeah, our parking spot is this much money?
Yeah.
And they told you how much it costs, and then a few days later we're like, nah.
Yeah.
No, like, sorry, it's not for rent. We need that for the janitor.
Yeah, for the main... Exactly.
Is there... What, really?
Yeah.
Like... Those janitor companies always come to my building. They have like a hired janitor company that comes, right? They park on the street.
On. Yeah, has its own in the street. I don't know.
Yeah, buy a house in the boonies. All the houses in Japan that are in the boonies cost nothing.
Yeah.
So in this area, you can buy a plot, like around this office, that is big enough to put a house on it, and that plot will cost you About $600,000 just for the plot with no house.
That's expensive.
I bought the same size plot in the middle of nowhere because I had to for the company. It cost me $500. Yes. Did I tell you about that?
You mentioned it, but
I don't know where it is. I only have it on paper and there's a little map and stuff. I tried finding it once. I can't find it.
Is it fairly big?
Yeah, it's bigger than this office.
Wow.
It's three times the size of this office.
That's
It's my plot of land, and I'm technically allowed to build on it because when you buy land, there's buildable land and non-buildable and farmland and all of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got
Wow.
land
Nice.
for $500. I
That's
actually
established.
paid way higher. I can't remember how much, but I paid way higher for the fees of buying
Oh yeah.
than the actual land itself. It's kind
It's
of
in
funny.
Chiba, right?
Yeah.
We should go and visit it.
And you know what else is funny? There's no way to get into the land. The land is landlocked, so there's no road that actually gets to my land.
So everyone's
if you
bought
wanna-
like these plots of land or something.
The
That's
plot
good.
next to it has nothing on it too, and
Oh.
you can like walk to your plot, and there's like rules that state that if your plot is landlocked, you're allowed to cut across other people's properties in order to get to it.
Okay.
Apparently there's a road too, but he says don't try driving any of the cars on that road to get to the lot unless it's like an ATV.
I just realized. Motocompo adventure to the lot.
If we ever get the Motocompo back. Speaking of which, Naoko,
Oh,
are we going to get our Motocompo this week?
I ask.
Thank you.
There, Pete said I would absolutely watch a video of you guys on an adventure to the land.
We've already done an adventure, not Mike and I. I went on an adventure looking for the land once and couldn't find it. We went to the area, and in Japan addresses are weird because they don't have, like,
Yeah.
usually there is a street name and a street number, like basically every country around the world, but Japan doesn't have that because I guess the civilization started long enough ago that roads weren't a thing. So there's kind of neighborhood names and then subsections of the neighborhood with numbers. But these sections are like these round sections on the map, and they're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and they keep getting split up over the centuries so that the numbers don't line up. And so even if I have the actual technical address, nobody can really find where that piece of land is. Not even close. The subsection of like the neighborhood, nobody even knew it in the area. We went. Did I tell you this story?
Oh, is that with the convenience store?
Yeah, we went to a convenience store in the area, and we were like, we're looking for this land, and we don't know where it is. And they're like, well, I've never heard of that. And they said, bring in Grandpa. He's got the maps.
Oh yes.
And this like 95-year-old guy came in, and he came with like rolled up handwritten maps.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it's so cool. And then he laid them out and then put on like the spectacles and looking at it and still couldn't find it.
So what about the company that you bought it from? Would they should be
If we go back to the company and we say you need to find this, I'm sure that they can do it, but we haven't done that. If we were going to go on a Motocompo adventure, for one, it would be really hard to get there because Chiba is very far away from here when you don't take the Aqua line, and a Motocompo can't go on the highway.
Well, maybe we put it in the back somewhere and get
Put it in the
close,
back.
and then.
You know
advance it to
the
a-
Honda City Hot Wheels has 3 Motocompos in the back?
Oh,
You could probably fit 3 in the real version.
oh. If they don't fall through the floor.
If you know what I
right?
mean. They will fall through the floor for sure. The trunk carry capacity is like 5 kilograms right now.
I just got to watch your wink on the camera again.
What?
Your wink on the camera. Yeah.
I did that for you. Yeah, if you ever miss what I'm saying, just watch it on your screen there. Yeah, so if it's a classic sight unseen story with the lot, maybe that land doesn't exist. But I paid $500 to have on paper the fact that I own land, and then that was used in order to get an auction license. And if I didn't have that, I couldn't get an auction license. So even if that land doesn't exist, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to have land, basically for doing nothing. I bought it like 5 years ago and
yeah.
never seen it.
Some guy's farming rice on it for show.
Yeah, definitely for show.
Those little individualized squares that they use, that's all people's land for auction licenses.
Bender says if we want to piss off people in Tokyo, then we say that the capital of Japan is Osaka. But I think that most Japanese people would know what you're doing there. I think if you went to someone and were like, "Oh, the capital is Osaka," then they would be like, "You're either trolling me, or you're an idiot," and he
Well,
won't be mean to you.
Yeah.
He'll treat you like you treat handicapped people, right? Like, oh, the poor guy. Here, let's help this guy onto the train. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
Because everyone around the
You're a
world knows the
tourist,
capital
you're
of
lost.
Japan. It's not like Australia. A lot of people, well, myself included, don't know the capital of Australia. Do you know what it is?
Canberra.
Woo! Did you get that right? I don't know. I don't know the capital of Australia.
Yeah.
Oh,
Pete.
Nismo Foons wants a love story. Tell us how Derek met Mike.
Or how Mike met Derek.
It was definitely the second one. I was not searching for Mike. He was searching for me.
It's true. I had ads posted up on all of the popular
Mhm.
websites.
How do I find this guy? I'm searching for him.
Yeah. It was Find the Land.
We're at 12 o'clock, Mike. Did you realize?
Oh.
Would you like to go and do some work?
Yes. I
Me
do
too.
want to.
We need to reply to emails because we're backed up a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. It's been a slice. Is that cool to say?
Yeah. I don't know what it means, but
I don't know. People say that sometimes.
yeah.
New Zealand is Australia's capital.
I like that.
Basically, right?
Because usually we're like the island off the coast of Australia, right? So
How far
to be called, like,
from
New
Australia are
Zealand,
you?
Like 2 hours flight.
Yeah, so that's pretty far.
Yeah, it's not off the coast at all, but I think an American told me
that's
that
like-
once. I was like, oh, I'm from New Zealand. He's like, oh, whereabouts in Australia is that? Isn't it off the coast? And I was like, I guess, but yeah.
All right, guys. We're leaving. Bye for now, and see you next week.